I am very pleased to announce the next item, Administrative Office. Accept a presentation by the 2015-16 Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce Leadership Team on their community project titled Calaveras Business Resource Center. To consider authorizing a lease agreement between Calaveras County and the Central Sierra Economic Development District for the use of Hubbardie Building owned by the Calaveras County, located at 7 Main Street in San Andreas, for the operation and location of the Calaveras Business Resource Center. And 3, if the Board of Supervisors is supportive of this project and building use, direct the County Administrative Office to negotiate a lease agreement between Calaveras County and the Central Sierra Economic Development District for the use of the Hubbardie Building for the purpose of operating the Calaveras Business Resource Center.
And today we have with us from the Chamber of Commerce Leadership Team member Steve Schutzline, who's the Executive Director of the Murphy Senior Center, and Chris Swan, Ranger Supervisor for the East Bay Municipal Utilities District, and they will be doing the presentation.
Okay. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks. My name is Steve Schutzline, like you said, from the Murphy Senior Center, and I'm here to present our idea for Calaveras Business Resource Center with Chris. We've been working on this for approximately 1 year, and actually I want the people in the Calaveras Leadership Group to raise their hands. There's a number of people here. Please raise your hands who are in the group. We spent 12 months working on this project. Long story short, we met in San Andreas about 12 months ago, and we sat down and we said we actually wanted to do something for Calaveras County. I'll explain what the leadership group is in a second, but before I get to that, we sat down and we said we wanted to do something. Guess what some of the needs that came up were? Since there's 5 of you, I'll give you 3 guesses. You should probably get it in 3 guesses. It wasn't seniors, it wasn't kids, it wasn't education. What do you think?
Jobs. Business development.
It actually was business development. They educated me that the Murphy Senior Center can actually get more donations if we have more businesses in the community that can donate. So there were a lot of people from a lot of different businesses and nonprofits that talked about these needs, and it came down to one thing. It came down to jobs, business, and economic development. So with the suggestion from Supervisor Edson, we went forward with this project, and I'm going to go to my PowerPoint right here. That's the group right there. They're actually our pictures. Sarah is right there with the megaphone. Sarah's down here operating it. That's an actual picture of her. Sarah, if you could hit a slide for us, please. So this is what we would like to see. We'd like for the county to authorize a lease for the Hubbardie Building to use as the Calaveras Business Resource Center. We're going to find out what exactly that is in a second. Slide, please. That's a very attractive group of people there, the Calaveras Leadership Group. 12 people. We took the initiative there. We actually wanted to do something, and again, this was before the fire, so we weren't sure what we were going to do. But it kept coming down to business development and economic development. Slide, please. As I said, good luck. So we wanted to tackle this idea that we've heard for so many years, or at least begin a project to help with not just growth, but with also a lot of the businesses that are already here. And taking the fire into consideration, we also wanted to give some support to some of the nonprofits that are now that have a lot of their resources at bare bones because of the fire. So we'd like to also help them out with this project. Slide. So our goal is not just to recruit businesses or create an economic development office and employee a position, but also support the people that are already here, those small businesses that are already here. So this is what we want to do. We want to start a Calaveras Business Resource Center in the Hubbardie Building here centrally located in San Andreas. We want to provide not just education, but possible some mentorships, some classes, some workshops with local businesses to provide them the support they need. For example, a nonprofit guy like me always needs support with human resources and tax help and financial help. That would be beneficial to me, and I would assume many other of the local nonprofits and small businesses. So the last thing there was not just the businesses, but also nonprofits and those guys that may have worked real hard in the fire. Go ahead. So you guys probably know better than me how long the Hubbard building has been vacant. I'm not exactly quite sure. Has it been a couple of years?
Too long.
Too long? So this would actually not just give us a spot for this, but with a possibility, with an opportunity of raising some funds for the county and raising some funds for local businesses. It's county and will continue to be county owned. We hope to put an office in there and also provide some, not really equipment, but some business placed support, copiers, maybe some computers or other things that businesses might need to support them. Also plenty of space to help, as I said, the small businesses depending on what their specific needs are. There's the Hubbard building. So as I already stated, we would support and provide services to businesses and nonprofits. Now, this is just a list we came up with. We did not do a needs assessment with the Chamber of Commerce. We did not go out and have a focus group with small businesses. These are just the small lists that we came up with. So it would be really specific when we move on to do things like that and really get specific about what our local needs are. So go back, Sarah, please. So, of course, we always talk about business retention and recovery. Starting a business and a nonprofit, I could have used that 7 years ago. Tax law, payroll, like I said, business planning, and yes, even manufacturing. That would be wonderful. So we're hoping that the county could help with the Business Resource Center to negotiate a sublease and have shared office space for small or startup businesses. Yes, we would even have spots for businesses that would actually just be starting that may need a desk or may need a space. Access to office equipment, like I alluded to a second ago, and meeting space. Retail space to sell items produced by participating business organizations of Calaveras County. We'd be interested in your suggestions also, and public suggestions on also how to use this space for a business resource center. So how are we going to pay for this? Timing is everything, right? There's actually a grant out there that we would like to see come to Calaveras County. There's approximately $250,000 that is currently available for the Economic Development Administration to fund this project for 2 years. What we'd like to do is engage Larry Cope, the economic developer in Tuolumne County, and working with Calaveras County to help us start this business resource center. And also subcontract with the Chamber of Commerce for operations there's a real natural connection there between the Chamber and through the Business Resource Center. Go ahead. I think the top 2 points are key for me, that it's not just going to be somebody operating a space. It's going to be business. It's going to be not only us supporting business, but also us hopefully creating an income once this building is ADA accessible and the updates were done to somehow gain an income from this building that's currently vacant. There you have your improvements and hopefully establish a fund for future building improvements. revenue generated through possible lease agreements with other small businesses, providing them support. And something that we've heard for years around here, which is to finally create a supportive business climate. And there's our group there.
I just wanted to follow up quickly with what Steve said. One of the things that we've seen over the years in Calaveras County is there's a little bit of an anti-big government component to the culture here, and I can see that approach or that concern sometimes. What's the beautiful nexus that we have in this presentation from this group is that the group is a diverse, very invested set of individuals from the county over a widespread geographic and experiential level who are fully engaged in making Calaveras County successful. So a grassroots, ground truth program through the citizens of Calaveras County has come up with a program that partners with local government, which finds funding that is kind of net zero to the local government and produces potential there that we haven't seen in the past. And I think the Hubbard Building is a great name for this site and a great site because it is actually a great hub for the county, both locality-wise and within context of the county offices. So we engage, or we ask that you invest with us in this process so that we can carry it forward and really create a more strong, vibrant county into the future for all of our children and grandchildren to be able to continue the efforts of Calaveras County.
Okay. Any other speakers?
Stacy Johnston, the Executive Director for the Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce. First of all, thank you for allowing us to, or the leadership team, to present this project to you. I am extremely proud of our leadership team this year. As Chris stated, a very diverse group of individuals. We all came in with complete different ideas, and this opportunity, actually this project was presented well over a year ago. The concept of a resource center by Supervisor Edson, and kind of lay dormant for many, many months until leadership came in and the climate was right. And unfortunately, with the Butte fire, the opportunity presented itself in a greater capacity. And through the Butte fire, funding became available. And so it definitely was the direction of leadership to move forward with this project. And I think it's just a win-win for Calaveras County. It brings in many, many resources that are desperately needed and makes the connections, again, between your local and your government entities. So with that being said, thank you again for the opportunity to present to you this morning, and we can take questions.
Okay. Any public questions or comments?
Before I speak, does the Chamber President have anything she'd like to say?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that probably should happen.
Okay. Sorry, I put you on the spot.
I'm used to being on the spot.
Well, that's true. So I didn't. So,
And my Vice President is here, and we prefer that, yes.
Oh, cool.
It's a great project. I live here in San Andreas. Anything to beautify our town, quite frankly, would be much appreciated.
yes, I saw your picture in the paper as part of the basketball. Good morning, George Fry. I don't know, it's about a year and a half ago, I was having breakfast one morning with Cliff, and he was talking about this dream, and it's kind of deja vu, and I think it's totally awesome. I can't think of a better place for it to be than in San Andreas. It hopefully will help wake up the people in this town. I like the fact that one wall is faces right onto Highway 49, and you could do a lot with advertising there. The startups for people who have their own businesses, this could be an incubator for them to get started and sell their merchandise and what have you. So I'm really, really excited about this process. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jack Garriman. I live in Paloma. I'm the Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce, and I appreciate the opportunity that you guys are giving to listen to this presentation, and hopefully you'll approve this project. This is a great tool for economic development in our county. I think that as an entrepreneur, I understand that, you know, as exhilarating as starting a new business is, it's also terrifying. But having a place to come together where you could actually meet with other people, ask the hard questions and often the dumb questions that you think everybody knows, and then you learn that everybody doesn't know and they had to ask someone to learn it, is really important. And this is a great place for that to happen. It's a place to share ideas, collaboration. It's where new businesses come out of when two people meet together on the floor for a cup of coffee and they're talking about their businesses. Oftentimes they could come up with a new idea, which is really exciting. It's not a quick fix. It's a long-term nursery for new businesses and new ideas for this county. I appreciate all the work that the Chamber has done on this, and that this class has done on this, and that this board has done to bring this forward. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm Peter Race from Jenny Lynn. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Good, thank you. Okay. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for initiating this. I'd like to support them. I think it's a great idea. But I do have a few beef with the Central Sierra Economical Council. They existed for many, many years, and I think we've been paying dues to them for many, many years. And putting it bluntly, I haven't heard any report what they did for all the years that you've been members, taking my money to benefit this county. Maybe they're just so shy that they don't want to share the success. If you would just reward people for what their intentions are, they probably would 10 times more. But from my perspective, from the outside, I went to a couple of the Sierra Central Economical Council. They didn't produce crap. Maybe they're hiding it, maybe too shy. I'd like to support this idea. Let's do something for this county. And I don't know what the source of the grant they're going to get this $250,000. Is that coming from the Sierra Council? They have their money. Who's going to be giving us the $250,000 grant? There's some mention about it over here to get it started for the first 2 years or something. That's wonderful. I'd like to know the source of that money to start with. As a regional organization, Calaveras County did not receive too many favors or benefits from them. I went to a couple of meetings, and I'm fine. Maybe a couple other counties nearby got some benefits. And it's about time this county gets something. I'm not that crazy about regional governments because there's no accountability, and hopefully this time this starts, which I hope it will. Their finances are going to be disclosed, how much it costs to administer and what kind of benefits we're going to get. I want to see the dollars coming in and dollars going out. Not just hope, not just good intention. That's wonderful.
30 seconds.
But I like to keep, hopefully, that you folks set it up so it's going to be some accountability. And there's a lady in this room who can, maybe they should report to where the money goes and where the money coming from. Thank you.
Al Segal, Taxpayer Association. Also, I'm a former graduate of their leadership program in the Chamber of Commerce. I used to be a director there. And I really appreciate and admire the people that are involved with the Chamber and the work they're doing. And also our Chairman of our Board of Supervisors for being a spark plug on this effort. The concern that that I have, and probably most of the people involved with the taxpayers, is the extension of power of the federal government in our local communities. I know Larry Coate, and he's probably the most likable guy you could ever run into. He's really a likable person, and he's a great leader. And but sometimes he doesn't provide all the information. And so I think before you would commit the county to anything regarding this, is to find out what the similar operation in Tuolumne County is doing. Not what people feel about it, but the actual statistics. How many people have they helped? And what have they been doing? And what have been the costs? The cost to the taxpayers. Now, it's not just local taxpayers. There's no local money that I know of that's going into this. But it's our tax money nonetheless. Just because it comes from the state or the federal government doesn't make it free money. It's not free money. But so there's two concerns. One is the proposal, how sound and detailed it is. And the second is the extension of federal influence in our local communities. And it's all well-meaning, but sometimes it becomes very hard to untangle something that's been created, especially it's another level of quasi-government. Now, as for the building, apparently that building's been vacant for a while. It seemed like the county, what's the county doing owning a vacant building? Is the county in the landlord business?
30 seconds.
Well, if the county is not supposed to be in the landlord business, why doesn't it sell the building to the private sector? You could be sure that the new owner of the building will be promoting that and building business. Building business. Using the private sector. I only have a few seconds left, but the chamber in Tuolumne County some years ago worked on economic development by drawing circles around the local community and the building industry, and also the real estate industry. That may be an approach that could be looked at in this endeavor. In other words, actually bring the real estate industry involved for out-of-county advertising and to bring business in. But anyway, there's a lot of ideas on economic development, but my time is up. Thank you.
Hi again, Rosemary Wilson. I actually think that this has a great deal of potential. It was said that the county has in the past been somewhat against development and business. I think smart, good businesses are what the community needs. Not sure that the asphalt plant would fall into that category, but I think it's a really good idea. And just think, if you have all of those new businesses coming online, which I think we need to fill up the existing storefronts that we have, they will be paying taxes. So we'll be giving the money that we may gain through the grant, giving that back multiple times if the project is a success, which I think it would be. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments?
I just wanted to respond to a couple of the statements that were made. So the $250,000 grant is from a federal agency, the Federal Economic Development Administration, so that's where that money comes from. That question came up. The building we did visit the facility in Tuolumne County as part of our evaluation, and they actually have created a lot of very dynamic processes and outcomes there that we felt we could springboard off of that with the partnership, and that Economic Development Administration grant is actually a partnership directly with the Central Sierra Economic Development Program. Then lastly, I just want to say that I think this is the exact type of partnership that we need, a private local government partnership, even if it is funded through a grant, to invest in the business climates or the challenges that the business climate is having here in the county. So that, I think, is the thing we have to fall back to, is not looking at the push me pull you elements of who should be paying for this or who should not be paying for this, but really to say this is the perfect balance between private and public sector stuff.
Okay. Board comments?
The county governance in this would be just to negotiate the lease, correct? We're not involved in their day-to-day running of the operation.
We would not be involved in the running of the operation. It would be through the grant, the Sierra Economic Development Council, the Chamber of Commerce. What we would do is negotiate the lease for the Hubbardie building and also build into that some requirements surrounding the ADA issues.
Okay, but we don't have to bless their accepting of the grant, correct?
No, we do not.
So that's not our duty in this.
No, it's not. It's basically making the Hubbardie building available and through a negotiated lease.
Thank you.
Chair, I have a couple of comments. In regards to some comments made during public speaking, I actually sit on the Central Sierra Economic Development District Board as the Calaveras County Supervisor Representative, along with a civilian member from District 3. This particular grant came to my attention here last meeting we had, which was probably 30 days ago. And we had some information as far as some of the details of this grant. It's a grant request at this time. This grant has not been issued yet. In fact, I believe the application has been made. Question brought up by Mr. Rouse was who's going to administer this and who's going to pay for that? Well, I understand there's a 10% administration fee that's going to go to the Tuolumne Economic Development, i.e. Larry Cope and his staff for administering this grant, which is common in situations like this. One question I do have, and I'm sure it's been addressed by the Economic Development Committee and also the folks here at the Chamber. Larry Cope's a very busy man. He is actually under contract with the City of Sonora and the County of Tuolumne for their economic development. He does actually sit as chairman or administrator to our committee, but that time is very budgeted, I guess is a good word. So you need to really sit down with Larry and determine what type of dedication of time he's going to be able to allow to this project, seeing that he's got his responsibilities for Tuolumne County and also for Sonora, and also to the Economic Development District Committee that we belong to. It is historically, it's correct. The Calaveras County Economic Development Committee has not been very successful in the past years. Things probably haven't been done the way they should have. And when we look at the investment the Calaveras County has made into the Central Sierra Economic Development District is what it's called. Almost to the point where I was very seriously considering maybe it's not beneficial to belong to that committee. After seeing what it's done and what they've done on this particular project and what they've tried to do and help some of the folks that have developed some small committees in Calaveras County, I've actually changed my position on that. I think it is a worthwhile endeavor. I think it's going to be a boon to Calaveras County, especially with this project kicking it off the way it is. I had the opportunity to discuss this in length with Chamber of Commerce representatives and the executive director, and also with the chairman of the board, and with Larry, Mr. Cope, and I think it's a great idea. Now I have to get a little selfish. In District 3, we've seen an economic turn down in tourism, areas that we have lost and we're starting to build back up. I'm happy to say that in the last year, we have developed 12 new businesses just in the cities, actually the townships of Arnold, Dorrington, and Avery. One of the biggest problems I have is when my folks come to me and ask for help, I can't give them the help that they need as far as running and keeping a business profitable. This is a perfect fit for that. Folks that come up here and invest their time and their money, they buy existing buildings, they refurbish them, they open up businesses, then they're open for 2 or 3 months, and all of a sudden things go downhill. We know how to open businesses up, we don't know how to sustain them. This fills that purpose. Once again, I've changed my position. I'm saying maybe it's not worth our while to be part of this organization. Well, I think this is what we're going to need for this county, and I know I need it in District 3, so I'm in favor.
Any other? We already went through public comments, George.
I wanted to make a comment as director on the Economic Development Company in Calaveras County. We meet the second Wednesday of every month at 2 p.m. in either classroom 2 or 3 at the hospital. And I would invite all of these talented people to come to our meeting tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock and make the same presentation. Thank you.
Any other board comments?
Now, are you just looking for direction or a motion? Or?
Well, we need
Direction as far as in relationship to the Harbor Day building. If you noticed in your board packet, one of the things that they are requesting is a no-cost or low-cost lease for the first 2 years. Again, it would be up to the administrative office to negotiate that lease, but to bring the lease to the board for approval. If the board is supportive of this venture and would want to direct the administrative office to work with and negotiate that lease, the one direction I would say in addition to that is to whether they are open to a no-cost or low-cost lease for the building for the first 2 years.
Okay. So my comments on this are this. Since I came into office, one of the first things that, one of the reasons I came into office, because I watched the businesses in Calaveras County decline, and keep going down, including my business. We've been in business for 10 and a half years. The first 2 years I was in business, it was great. You know, we had the economy. We were relying on tourism in the county for our economy. We rely on agriculture for our economy, and we're about out of options after that. And so the tourism economy is great, but it's kind of like riding a roller coaster. If we have snow on the hills, we have great tourism. If we don't have snow on the hills, we don't have any tourism. And then when our lakes are empty and we have no snow, I guess we're reduced to hiking on the lake bottoms. And so then one of the things I listen to with our constituents is they like small businesses. I like small businesses. And so how could we develop something to promote and to help sustain small businesses in the county, to grow small businesses? A lot of empty storefronts, a lot of people, and as we move through time in history, the entrepreneurial attitude basically gets less and less and less. It's more towards the corporate structure and working for somebody else, and your small businesses are getting smaller and smaller and less. And I believe that our country was built on small businesses, and for our county, I think that is the best thing that we could do is grow and enhance our small business community. We have plenty of potential here, but we seem to get stuck in different groups. It's kind of like cliques. You know, if there's a housing boom coming along, we got a bunch of housing people that are, you know, interested. If there's other things like that that come in, you know, that's when it's good and fast. Right now, we have a group, the Chamber of Commerce, who is countywide. They represent the county, the whole county equally, and they have only one intention, and that is to build and enhance our small business community equally. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. It doesn't matter, because they represent every business in every part of our county and every town equally. And that is perfect. So if we allow them to set up with this Business Resource Center, then you can bet that that's what they're going to do, because they have proven to be that type of group. And in the past year or so, I've watched them grow, come out of debt, be responsible, bring in the leadership team, which is a diverse group of people to begin with, and come up with, I suggested an idea. They did the hard work, and they came up with the program. Perfect. That's how we should do things. And as time goes on, you'll see that, in my estimation, you'll see that they will become less and less reliant on everything else around them and become more and more efficient and more self-reliant. And that's the goal. That's what we should be doing, not relying on this grant forever. The other thing is we have a building sitting right on the corner of Old Town San Andreas, which at 8 o'clock at night, you don't want to walk around down there right now, right? So we have a dilapidated area that is declining in any type of good things that can happen in that area. And like the Black Bart Inn, the Black Bart restaurant is closed because nobody wants to go around there. There's no attraction. This is an opportunity to give it to begin a facelift, to give it that positive appearance, and also to bring a positive, vibrant group in there that will make it shine, and begin the process of rebuilding. And that's what we need in our whole county: begin the process of rebuilding in our businesses. So I'm actually really excited about this. This is exactly what I promote, and exactly they came up with exactly what I would think would be an idea that is what the county needs. And I am extremely proud of this group for doing that. They came to me about just over a year ago. We sat down, we talked about it, and it wasn't like I had to push them. They just, I walked away and they did it. Perfect. So how do we support them? Because what they're going to do is support the rest of the county on our economic development, by the way, which pays, for most of the people's, or all of the people's wages in government here. And if we continue to decline, we will continue to have less and less money to operate our government. This is an opportunity to help them grow. I don't see the downside, I'm sorry. So it's only good as far as I can see. And I'm thinking of the businesses that they're going to be able to help put in business and stay in business. And how much is that worth? Not only to monetarily and to our tax base, but to the lives of the people that live here. How much is that worth? And so I'm in total support of this, naturally. Could be that I'm a little bit partial, but I got to tell you that I believe in their in what they've done, and I believe in the chamber and what it's done in the past year and a half or two. And so I want to give them every opportunity to be successful as we can. Right now, we have a Hubbardie building that gives us nothing. And So now we're getting the opportunity to have a Hubbardly building that will give us something great. And I'm good with giving them the best possible lease that we can give them so that they can get their operation going and be successful. And that's my statement. Anybody else?
What does the Hubbardly building cost the county?
The Hubbardly building is owned outright by the county, so what it costs is just the maintenance on it and the electricity, water, sewer, et cetera.
So I would be comfortable in directing admin office to come up with the lease with the chamber.
No.
That's what's being asked of us today, correct?
Yes.
That you would support a negotiation of a lease so that the Business Resource Center could be operated by the Chamber in the Central Sierra Economic Development District, thank you, moving forward.
So we're also talking about possible construction improvements to become ADA compliant.
That is correct, and that was one of the bigger concerns because the Hubbardly building does have some ADA issues, so that would be built into the lease. That we had a CAS certified person go through, and there is some initial things that need to be done, and as long as we then develop a plan for addressing the other things that we're moving forward, it mitigates the level of responsibility. As long as we have a plan and something is being done on an ongoing basis to address those issues.
So wasn't it my understanding that you guys have that built into your business plan?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to talk about that just for a second, please?
So we did do an assessment of the building originally to determine what needed to be done and how we could achieve that. We wove that ADA compliance upgrades into the grant application so that we have this funded, and then we have a process in place as part of that, a stair-stepping process to move those upgrades through the county approval process to conclusion. So that's all part of what happens once the grant has been approved, developing the building for the program.
Thank you.
Chair, one question on that. The Hubbardly building is a two-story building,
Yes, it is.
and you said you've done an assessment or are going to do an assessment for ADA compliance.
We have done an assessment.
Okay. Did the improvements include any type of mechanical lift?
The option for a mechanical lift was discussed to meet the ADA requirements as I understood them from our assessment. We did not need to include that. We just needed to develop accessible elements in the lower floor.
Okay. Because that could be a quite costly item.
It could be, but not necessarily something that we wouldn't look at in the future once we've established this tremendously successful program.
Okay.
I love his optimism.
Yeah.
Almost
You
as
haven't been an
optimistic.
ADA consultant, have you?
So I say again, you want a motion or you just want direction?
I have another question. Is this whole program based on receiving this grant?
Currently, that is how we have structured the funding for this, yes.
So if you don't get the grant,
Pardon?
if you don't get the grant,
If we don't get the grant, in our business plan for this program was to look for other funding sources, but right now, we've had a preliminary meeting and we believe that we have a very high likelihood of getting this grant.
so writing this lease is going to be based on this grant?
That can be incorporated into the lease, that, based on this grant or other funding sources that we move forward with the lease.
And we accept that as a reasonable process.
Are you going to be using the top story?
I couldn't hear you, Chris?
Are you going to be using the top story?
We plan on developing the second floor into office space for parts of the business plan, yes.
But that doesn't have to be ADA accessible then?
The
Because
ADA
the
accessibility, you look at the building as a whole, as long as you're providing the full components of the building at some portion of the building, you can maintain ADA in compliance. Make sure I was right.
Okay, so you guys okay with it?
Pursuing a lease?
Yes. Okay.
Question, would that be a committee or would that be just interdepartmental? CEO Ryan, with a lease
The
structure?
the administrative office would negotiate that lease.
Yeah, they'll get the lease, they'll bring it back to the board, and then we get a chance to take a look at it and approve it or not approve it.
Right. The lease of all buildings, either owned by the county or owned by someone else and being leased by the county, are negotiated by the administrative office, but they are brought to the board for approval.
Right?
So we would direct the county administrative office to negotiate a lease agreement between Calaveras County and the Central Sierra Economic Development District for the use of the Hubbardie Building for the purpose of operating the Calaveras Business Resource Center.
The economic company, what if they don't get the,
I think, wouldn't it be Chamber of Commerce?
It is the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
So we have to change that.
Yeah, because in the board packet that you presented to me.
We had a modification halfway through, and I think we got half of one, the body is this chamber, and the title is this.
So we have to change that, though, to the Chamber of, the lease is going to go to the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So could we make that amendment, please?
Yeah.
That would be the motion. That would be the change in the motion.
There's not a motion on the floor yet, is there?
It was my understanding that Supervisor Kearney was formulating
Okay, motion.
what a motion or
Well, that's
based
what I
on
was asking.
recommendation.
Yeah, a motion or just direction of the board.
I think a motion would be,
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
For a plethora of services.
Somebody want to make that motion, or I will?
Well, no, I'll make the motion. It's, I move that we direct the county administrative office to negotiate a lease agreement between Calaveras County and the Calaveras Chamber of Commerce for the use of the Hubbardie Building for the purpose of operating the Calaveras Business Resource Center.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a second by, so I have a motion by Supervisor Kearney, second by Supervisor Wright. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.